National Talent Identification Program.
Okay.
Now, you'll remember, which seems like a lifetime ago in football, United TTFA, of which I was a member, got rid of David John Williams and created an administration that lasted for short of 3 months.
Hmm.
And then FIFA invaded. And then the Occupation um, Normalization Committee took over.
Right, right, right.
I like to call them that. That was in my political perspective, and I speak frankly, was the period of occupation.
Hmm.
That's how I see it.
Right. Yeah.
But we very quickly, I was chairman of the, and I ain't looking for work. I'm not looking for any comeback.
Right, 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 right.
My days in as an official of Trinidad and Tobago football are over. But I was chairman of the technical committee, and we created a strategic plan, and we created positions that had accountability to implement the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the institutions under that plan that we created was a national talent identification program
Right.
that would be stocked with people at regional level, but also at national level, whose job it would be, these were to be paid positions, stipend, not full-time work,
Yeah, yeah.
stipend, to go about and across the land looking at football from village to Hazley Crawford Stadium, looking at young players play.
Mm-hmm.
And not only calling them in, for we having a trial in Arima Savannah at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. Come, bring a white jersey and a red jersey. And then they come, a boy didn't eat for the day, and he comes and you give him 20 minutes and he didn't do so good, and they say, okay, we have no use for him, and you move and you forget about him. When you don't know this boy problems at home, when that boy should be seen over and over and over and over in his natural habitat,
Yeah, yeah.
in his natural environment, playing for his village side or what have you, he's cool too. And you could form a long-term assessment of that boy and decide, do we want to pursue him? Do
Hmm.
we want to bring him in to the national level now, into a national pool where we could begin to develop him?
Mm-hmm.
Because you would also have a regional pool. I'll
Yeah.
tell you this. I was the TTFA youth development officer back in the early 90s. This 30 years ago.
Right.
It's not rocket science, brother. It's not rocket science. I did that back then. We had something called the Center for Excellence Program, where in each of the regions, north, south, east, Port of Spain, and so on and so forth, we had an ongoing screening program. We had pools of players who were training on a weekly basis. I wrote the syllabus that was to be implemented. I still have copies somewhere
Oh,
in my library. I still have copies of that, right? It's a 30-year-old syllabus. It could still apply today. You make some changes to modernize it.
yeah.
But good coaching is good coaching in any era. And a good syllabus is a good syllabus,
Mm.
right? So all the coaches in that program who were paid had to implement the syllabus. We were not telling them everything to do each day, but we were telling them these are the topics and the areas that you have to cover over the duration of the training for this term, which begins on this date and ends on that date.
Okay. Okay.
And you supplement it with your own exercises, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And they would play against each other, blah, 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 blah. I see, okay, to be fair, they're doing some of that today, right? But nothing along the line that we did. We had paid people, and this went on all year. And
Okay.
out of that program, we got a large number of national team players of that era,
Mm-hmm.
right? Travis Mulrain, Stokely, Mason, Stern, John, etc., 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 came out of that program. It's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We had under 13, 15, etc., 17, etc., etc. So we need to have a talent identification program where people wake up in the morning thinking, I have to go Mayaro today, or I have to go Toko today to look at this boy, because I'm creating names. There used to be a team called Mayaro Spurs. Mayaro Spurs is playing against Rio Claro youths or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see, I hear they have I'm going to see what they have. And in any event, there's a good little forward. He's 15 years old. His name is such and such. I'm going to look at him. And then after you've seen him 4 times, go and look at him again. And maybe making recommendations to the regional level and the national level to bring this boy in, this girl in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And being open to people saying, listen, I have look at this video of this boy. He play you don't know him, but he plays under 17 for Rio Claro Spurs. Take a look at him.
Yeah.
And that's their job. Yes? So that's the next point. The search for talent. But alongside that, one of the things we did in the United TTFA Technical Committee, using my contacts abroad, we created an international talent identification program.
Right.
We set up a structure, not just some, my son born in America, I just live in Atlanta, and he good. And when you look at him, okay, we could have that. But we set up a structure using Trinidad and Tobago, and I hope that those who have influence in the TTFA today look at this program.
Yep, hope so too.
We set up a structure using Trinidad and Tobago coaches living abroad, and coaches who have Trinidad and Tobago links living abroad in the United States, in Britain, etc.,
yeah,
to look for boys and girls, men and women who have that link in a structured way.
Yes, yeah.
So that we know that in the New York area, we have somebody in charge, and he has a panel of coaches under him or her,
mm-hmm.
who is on the ground, and we could say, okay, what we have in New York, what
mm-hmm.
we have in Atlanta, what do we have in Greater Manchester, what do we have in Toronto or Ontario, etc., a structured program.
Wasn't that I'm trying to remember Noah Powder's father name?
Sean. Sean was one, and another good comrade, Justin Reed. Right. These are Trinidad and Tobago born people who are involved in United States football,
mm-hmm.
soccer, as they call it there, who helped us put this program together.